Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and in this video we're going to talk about Yieldnodes. We're going to talk about the recent Yieldnodes audit that we actually participated in. We're going to have a closer look at exactly what we looked at, what was told, and we're also going to have a look at the monthly results for July, and that is quite a big surprise. So definitely not one that we saw coming, but positive news. But let's get started, and we're going to start off with the audit section here. So Yieldnodes, a couple of months back, mentioned to its members as usual that they want to do the 6 months audit. It took a bit longer for various reasons here, because the last one was in December. This one here only started off in July, but definitely it happened. And as usual, they do a random draw in between 5 members, and then on top of that there's also another 5 members that were invited especially through Yieldnodes and Decenomy for people that can help and push the project forward. Part of this, we were not initially in on this, so we're very happy, and we'll explain a bit more how we come to be part of the audit program, of course. But first of all, I have to tell you also that I am not a certified auditor or have ever been an auditor before. So my background is actually aviation, and I have been audited hundreds of times in the more than 30 years that I have been in aviation in many different types of departments. So obviously this is always a picture of the company itself or the department itself that are being audited. In this particular case, this is Yieldnodes, and the most important thing that we wanted to come and audit, like all the other auditors, is figuring out, is this actually a scam? Where is the money going? How much money is actually in the different wallets? How is it being managed? And all these things we got the question answered to, and that's what we're going to go through here today. Obviously we cannot go in direct details on which account was where, so that is obviously for Yieldnodes to know only, and we haven't made any notes of this kind. We simply just want to make sure that old members are not being paid with new members' money. So again, is this a Ponzi scheme or not? So those are all the questions that the different auditors obviously had. So we have been with Yieldnodes for quite a long time. You have seen the many videos that we have already put out previously. So, but still, we went in there with an open mind and made sure that we saw everything that was available to us. So again, we have to understand here that Yieldnodes, it is a high-risk investment. It is part of what you can say the highest end of the DeFi. So, and obviously that's why you also never invest in with money that you can't afford to lose. And it sounds obviously very easy, but at the end of the day, that is the way you have to look at things when you invest in Yieldnodes. We are lucky enough that we have taken out money several times during the last couple of years. We have been in there, and obviously now we are risk-free. We're going to have a closer look at that also, but at the end of the day, it's all about the audit. So let's get started, but first we'll do the disclaimer.
The data on this website is for your information only. It does not constitute professional investment advice, or advice on tax or legal matters. Please remember that all investment strategies and investments involve risk of loss. Nothing contained in this video should be construed as investment advice. Any reference to an investment's past or potential performance is not, and should not be construed as, a recommendation or as a guarantee of any specific outcome or profit in the future.
So when you do an audit, and in this case here with Yieldnodes, it's very important obviously to understand here so what is expected from both sides, so both from the auditors and from the companies being audited itself. And one of the things that is actually always good to see is that everybody's on the same page. So I just want to share this part here with you from Yieldnodes and Decenomy. So this is what they send out. It is currently on the Yieldnodes platform, so if you are a member already, you can find it there, and later in the video I'll show you exactly where to find it, so if you haven't already had a closer look at it. But this basically shows also what has happened, and we concur that this is exactly what we've seen also so far. So the Yieldnodes audit itself took place between the 19th and 21st of July. Location was here in Malta, where we are also based. It was part of the Decenomy office, not the particular audit was, but it was the Decenomy hub that we went to here. Obviously the new part, and you will see some of the pictures very shortly. So obviously this went quite well, and one of the main reasons here, as we mentioned in the beginning here, is that Yieldnodes and Decenomy assets, are there enough coverage for this? In this particular case, the statement came out, it was more than 30%. Definitely it was more than 30%. It was even more at the time that we looked at the numbers, so we can definitely concur with this. And also this says that this means the value of coins held, all of the Decenomy coins plus BTC and external wallets, exceed the liabilities. So basically, to make sure that it is actually fully covered, that they are not using, as we mentioned, new money to pay old members. And then in order to reach the conclusion, the auditors were given transparency access to each wallet in order to calculate the value held and compare it against our obligations. We actually did get every single wallet access to us, and we accessed them online, so we could directly see it. It wasn't a basic picture. So also mentions here that first we showed the members the areas of deposit compounds and explain how the system is operated. This was done by Steve, so he mentioned exactly how he runs the day-to-day operations. And then we proved with the live data actually on the servers what was there. And one of the auditors was also used for, this was basically done randomly here. So Liam decided that he wanted to show his account and basically verify that this was a match. And he managed to confirm the deposits. The rest of us could obviously also see this. So that was the first part of the audit. Afterwards here, Woods, which is the architect and running the day-to-day operations of Decenomy, showed the Excel spreadsheet here. So with every single position, all the different wallets, all the different exchanges, everything that was included in there. And obviously that was quite satisfying to see that there was so much control within the Yieldnodes and Decenomy team. It was also important, so just to let you know exactly the connections between the auditors that were randomly chosen. And one of the parts was also obviously that the last 5 was chosen by Yieldnodes and Decenomy, and this was also done in order to promote the project itself. So the connection between the auditors, with the exception of James and Chris, which was both after YouTubers, so none of the auditors knew each other. Well, I do know Liam, and we have been working together so for quite a while, and being sparring partners. So we had each our own YouTube channel. So, and he also runs the Facebook page for Yieldnodes, and he actually also runs the Yieldnodes merchandise shop for free. Apart from this, James and Chris reconnected, so good for them. Due to cancellations, there was a few from Poppy and Matthew, and then there was new randomly selected for the audit, which was also shown on the YouTube channel. There was basically 5 extra people that was supposed to come in. However, at the last minute here, they ended up with only 9 auditors. And basically Liam suggested that I could join this particular one because it was very short notice. I was already in Malta and obviously only 15-20 minutes away to participate in the audit. And in this case, Steve agreed, and obviously we ended up with 10 auditors, and very pleased to be part of this. So that is the background and how we actually came to be in on this particular audit. So the day started on the audit itself, where we went to the new Decenomy hub. It is not fully operational yet. They expect it to be there somewhere around the end of August, beginning of September. So we will go back and obviously do some videos at one point for one of the future videos. The setup itself is a bit like the Google one, where you work and play. So that means there's different types of flipper machines. There's going to be a little remote control racetrack, ping pong tables, things like this most probably, and as you can see also a football table. There's a gym also there, and then a small little kitchen and other things. So it looks like a very fun place to be, and we hope in the future that we can do maybe an interview also from there, maybe with Woods, if and when he's got time for that. Apart from that, we went into the meeting here, and as we mentioned, Woods then gave a briefing, so not only on the wallets and what was in them, but also on some of the projects that are already underway and some of the future projects. So part of the most important part that we certainly wanted to have a look at was, okay, how much money and how is the wallets distributed, and staking was also part of this, the Masternoding that Yieldnodes had in there, and obviously the exchanges. And what we found here is there's a good diversification, so on multiple different wallets, so which is always good for risk. So if one is hacked, definitely this is only a small portion of it, and that secures the funds at the end of the day for all the investors. Also the staking that they have in all their individual coins, 18 of them, we managed to see all these on the spreadsheet, so also very good. And obviously we saw the Masternoding, so which was their own masternodes, not like I have shown you here, the shared masternodes. They have full nodes themselves, of course, so this is a lot of money we're talking about. And so that we also saw the full extent of this. And also the exchanges are being used, multiple exchanges are being used, again for safety and lowering the risk overall. And that was quite good to see, so that they have so much control. And all of this was also shown live. That means they basically logged in while we were there, showing all the numbers. The next part here is a couple of the projects that Woods was talking about. And the first part is the hub structure, which, as you saw, is already well underway. It's supposed to be a meeting point in the future, so for both Yieldnodes and Decenomy investors, so new interested parties. And basically it's going to work as a decentralized data center. On top of that, they're also going to use it so for support and training in the future. And then obviously it's going to be a showroom for new projects where people can come in, have a look and ask questions. So it looks very, very interesting, and obviously we are looking forward to this opening up officially. Apart from the hub structure, as you can see here, Woods was very engaged, so he's a man definitely with big visions. And the next part here was also the San Tome, and that was something that looks very interesting, definitely to me here also. We are expecting this to be implemented, maybe not this year, but in the beginning of next year. And it will be quite interesting to see how they get on with this. So they are quite far in their preparations already. And exactly the lighthouse projects for Decenomy. So we mentioned this in our last review also in Yielnodes. It's an African island with 200,000 in population. It is previously a Portuguese colony, and as many other economies in Africa, it's obviously not functioning fully. And what they have done here is basically gone in and made a partner, so with this particular country, and starting to promote the Decenomy coin. So it will have an official Decenomy coin. Which coin it will be, we don't know. Obviously, our guess was most probably be the SAP, because it is the star in the Decenomy crown here. But again, nothing has been confirmed, and Steve and Woods didn't confirm this either. So this is pure speculation from our side at the moment. So, but apart from this, the Decenomy leaders are official advisors of the president also. So that means obviously they're in there. They are already getting their hands dirty on all these different things, coordinating laws, and even supported by the local university also to help implement these things. And one of their new things is also offering a full banking license in the future. So very interesting project and definitely something to keep our eye on. So to understand exactly where this is, so we're in the region of Central Africa here, and there's a couple of islands, and this is just south of Nigeria and right next to Gabon. And if we go in a bit further, you can see São Tomé, the main island, is this one over here. And there's a second one up here. So this is Principe. And here you have Lagos, Nigeria, Port Harcourt is here, and then Gabon on the side. So basically it's lying in the Gulf out there. And obviously it's a great little place to try and implement something completely new. And there's quite a few projects. So not only for the currency, but also a couple of energy projects that Woods was telling us a bit about. Now Yieldnodes and Decenomy also have some real projects already running around the world, and some are further ahead than others. But the first one here is decentralized mobile charging for infrastructure on electrical cars. We believe very much that this is also part of the sustainable energy supply that they're talking about down here regarding São Tomé and Malta. Obviously these are small islands, and that is basically ideal to test electrical cars over time, because the distances that you drive means that you don't have to charge your cars several times a day. You can basically do it once a week and still get away with it. On top of that, EU awarded solution also for ecological purification of sewage. And then there's a My Friend, which is basically an app. It's an avatar that is built and to support family and friends with demented people. On top of this, there's a penny auction where you can basically put some of your things up for sale on the auction, and also again use the Decenomy coin. And last but not least, also an online platform for betting with, again, Decenomy coins. And obviously we believe that that could be the 777 coin, 777, which is previously also been mentioned and linked together with gambling. Last but not least, this is the audit team as we saw them. So the 10 people that attended here. And on top of that, we also have quite a few of the Yieldnodes and Decenomy staff members that took very well care of us during this time. So very happy people at the end of the day. So everybody went away. So with a very good feeling that this Yieldnodes and Decenomy project is well underway, and the money is secure for now. So if you have an interest in going through the audit and the auditors that was part of this, if you are part of Yieldnodes already, you will have it in your platform. You simply go to the audit button here and click, and then you can see the previous audits are also in here. And I think I mentioned this was back in December. I said the last audit was. It was actually all the way back in October. So a bit more than the 6-7 months that we had in between, but luckily it is done now, and obviously you can have a closer look. You'll see that also part of what I mentioned here before is part of this letter here. So that is set up, closure of the auditors, connection between the auditors and the people that was in. There's also a little video you can go in and have a look at, so showing the Decenomy hub while the auditors were there, and then a range of names and some feedback from all the different ones, including links that you can go and have a closer look at. And then on top of that, you have all the usual links, including the important ones for Trustpilot. As you can see, at the moment it's 4.8 out of 5 based on more than 840 reviews. So definitely a lot of people like Yieldnodes. Going back out to the main platform here, we can see that the shared Masternoding balance we currently have and the return on investment since we started back in November 2019, so quite a few years ago. And the important part here is this month's profit, so 9.2% in July. This is by far the highest month, so for 2022. Normally we say we had 10% in the previous years as an average or just above, but this particular year we haven't seen anything above the 8% mark. So obviously this comes after we saw the first couple of weeks was a bit low, and then obviously the Yieldnodes team has done an excellent job in pushing the profits for this particular month all the way up to 9.2. Definitely not bad at all. So, and obviously you have the graphical indications also on how this actually works. I just want to show you this particular part, so where you can see the net profits, average note balance, funds, and the total withdrawal that we have done also in here. And this was planned already a while back in 2022. We said we want to be risk-free. Obviously we don't want to go out of Yieldnodes because we really like what they do, and definitely after the audit we will definitely continue. And what we've just done is basically we have taken home our profits, so a bit of profit, but also the initial investment that was done. So the initial investment was made over a couple of months from 2019 and into 2020. And if we just go and have a quick look here, you can see the first indication was here. So in December we actually added in the money at the end of November, but obviously there's a 7-day layover period until they start going to work. So that means that we have our initial investment back, plus we have made 100% ever since we started with Yieldnodes. And this money is obviously continuing to give quite a good percentage back. Definitely if we're back on into the 9%, that will be excellent. So let's see how the market's going to develop over the next couple of months for this part. The one that obviously we always like to show is the performance down here. And what it shows is you have an initial deposit that goes in. So to Yieldnodes, in this particular case, we can use 5,000. It doesn't really matter much. You can change whatever you want. And it'll then compare it to the gold, Dow Jones, Bitcoin, Yieldnodes, where you are basically not compounding, but you're taking out your profit from the 5,000 every single month. And then you have the compounding factor in there, which is obviously most beneficial over long periods of time. And you can see how stable the different ones are. So it says here, if we go to the parts, so the gold, you would have made about 5,000 euros, just a bit more, 5,600. Dow Jones, 5,700. Bitcoin, if you were invested in the same 5,000, you would now have 15. And if you would have done it with Yieldnodes, so without the compounding factor here, you would have made 21,825, and none of these numbers are obviously bad. But when you look at the compounding factor in total, then it would have taken the 5,000 and made them into 122,000. So not bad at all. Definitely the profit itself, as you can see here, if you wouldn't have compounded, it would have been 336%, which is in itself quite astonishing. Compounding makes it up to 2,351%. So in that short period of time, we talk about just over almost 3 years is coming at the end of this year here, so very shortly. And that is basically 5,000 turning into 122. And this is all passive, so definitely what's not to like on Yieldnodes. But again, it is a high risk, so we always make sure that we get our initial investment back, and hopefully also claim a bit of profit so that we can call this a positive investment. It continues to go, and we definitely can't see anything coming up right now that should jeopardize this. If we have a quick look at our Excel for 2022, we'll basically see that In January here we had 8%, so 8.3 in February. March was 7.4, and again April 8.3, and then it went a bit downhill here with 6.5, and then in June 6.1, and now we have jumped up to the all-time high of the year for 9.2. So overall average profit so far this year is 53.8%, and if we have a look at the different months that we have put in, average for 2022, it's 7.69%, so about 7.7% at the moment. And this particular number is the average since Yieldnodes started. So basically we're looking at every single month since they started. And that has been the average so far, 10.3. As you can see, it's dropped average about 0.5%. And this one here is the total percent from 2021, where we ended up with 124.2% and an average of the year of 10.35. So we are a bit below still what we expected, but this has been a rough year for crypto, so it has gone very much downhill. So definitely when we came to May and June, but obviously good to see that every single month Yieldnodes has been around here. We are continuous to have positive results both on a weekly and on a monthly basis, and things are still looking good, things are still looking bright, stable. A lot of new projects are coming, so we are hoping that obviously these numbers are popping back up. So with the audit finished, and obviously from our side we are quite happy with what we've seen. We are quite happy with having good chats with Steve, the CEO, and definitely also had a good chat with Urs, the mastermind behind Decenomy. So we can definitely see that these things are very well handled. We also saw quite a few of the Decenomy team, so very good team, very open and ready to share with anything. We have all the questions that we had has also been answered, and many of the other auditors. We are obviously comparing notes, and the overall was that Yieldnodes is on the right track. They have a lot of new projects. This means that are not only standing still, but they are actually moving forward. They are doing quite a lot of development. It's going to be quite interesting to see how many of these projects that they have already launched, how they're going to implement these, how it's going to affect also the Yieldnodes and Decenomy results in the future. Definitely, if you get some of the coins that they already have here, the 18 coins, and you tie them to real projects with real people and real currencies behind them, so where you can actually, as we said on the casino part, if Santome gonna start trading with one of the Decenomy coins similar to SAP, it will definitely have a good benefit overall for not only Yielnodes Decenomy but also all the investors that are involved. We can definitely see some good prospects that are coming out of this. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure you give us a like, and make sure you have the notification bell turned on for this particular one so you don't miss our next audits. If you have missed any of the previous videos, we always suggest you go into our news report, which is released on Fridays, and there you can also see the latest results from Yieldnodes and all the other projects that we are actually currently involved in. So thank you for this time. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.